Hello everyone and welcome to this slow and immersive playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4. With the Arms Against Tyranny expansion just released and the patches, kind of hotfixes coming through, I thought I'd try to play HoI 4 again. I've played it occasionally in the past. I haven't played in a while, but we'll be going with Finland, and the way I like to play Hearts of Iron 4 is turn off historical AI focuses and just steer the country through this turbulent time without having any preset kind of game plan in mind when I start the game. So here, we'll be starting on 1st of January 1936, Gathering Storm. Dark times are coming. In Europe, Hitler has consolidated his power and his attention is now increasingly drawn beyond Germany's borders. Mussolini's Italy continues to embark on daring military adventures, while the Empire of Japan stands poised to attack China in Asia. Almost 20 years have passed since the end of the Great War, and the world has yet again been doused in gasoline. A single spark may be all it takes. So this is what we're going to go with. We're going to select a country. We're going to select Finland. I'm going to keep it at regular difficulty, since to be honest, I'm fairly new to HoI 4, although I have played it Hearts of Iron 2 and 3 and 4 with every expansion, but I tend to play a couple of games with every expansion and then kind of forget about it. But I think the game in general has gone very far, and I think this expansion with all the patching is really well fleshed out now. You can play pretty much any country in Europe, big or small, and have fun, and there's tons of options. And I used to play Finland actually even without the custom tree that they've introduced in this expansion, and I always liked it because I, as I mentioned, like to just immerse myself into running a country through this turbulent time without any preset, kind of a focus tree path in mind or any strategy. We'll just see how the world develops, and that's why we'll keep it Iron Man mode on and historical AI focuses on off. And there you go. Let's start Iron Man Finland. Started. And here we are in Northern Europe. Let's take a quick look. We're bordering Sweden to the west, and Norway to the north, Soviet Union, of course, to the east, and we have the Gulf of Bothnia, basically the Baltic Sea, Gulf of Finland, and Low Baltic Sea around us to the south west. Go ahead and start with just a general political overview. Here we are. We have Per Evind Svinhufvud, which we'll just refer to him as Per, as our political leader. Next election in March 1937. So we got kind of a year and a quarter as this leader. We're non-aligned. We, generally have our non-aligned party, Kokoomus, in power with 65% popularity. Got some fascists coming in second with 19%. Social Democratic Party at 15%, and the Communists with 1%. Let's go ahead and have a look at our leader, Per. He's a member of Suojeluskunta. Not really sure about the historical context here, but that gives us stability -5%, minimum surrender limit, not relevant right now. Ideology drift defense, so not particularly relevant maybe at the moment. Conservative nationalist is what he is stability +10, and infrastructure construction speed +20%. Yep, so I mean effectively I think he gives us -5% stability for now, although but +10, so I guess net of +5% stability and +20% to infrastructure construction speed. His personal agenda is to eradicate socialism. Having less than 1% support for democratic and communist ideologies will increase public trust. His second agenda is concerning support for socialists, which is highlighted in red, and is decreasing public trust, which we'll talk about in a second. So having more than 9% support for democratic or communist ideologies will decrease public trust. And the last one is Finnish sovereignty threatened. Losing control over a Finnish core state will decrease public trust. It's also highlighted in red. Losing control of the Finnish state. Not sure if it's actually in effect, since we're not really losing any core states. But Social Democratic Party's popularity of 15%. We need to get that below 9 if we want to get rid of that penalty. And here we are. I guess this is the public trust is where we are. Balance. I haven't seen this mechanic in previous HoI, so I assume it was introduced in this patch or in this expansion. Here we are. We go from low public trust to high public trust. At the moment, we're in low trust territory, which gives us political power gain minus 10%, stability minus 5%. So I guess net now of 0, since we get minus 5 plus 10 and another minus 5. War support minus 5. Okay, also maybe not the worst thing right now since we're not at war. But activation effect adds Sisu, which grants division recovery rate plus 5% division defense on core territory. Motion of non-confidence against pair. Decision cost 150. Okay, this becomes available at low trust. I guess right now public trust is currently 45% on the side of low public trust. The balance of power is currently stable. Okay. We're kind of just keeping low. We'll see if we can find a way to increase this. And one way I found, I guess, is by using this political power decisions. For example, organized opposition. The government has not succeeded in delivering on their promises and must be dealt with accordingly. It is time to unify the opposition and organize events to gather support and discredit pair. Okay, so this actually allows us to reduce public trust further if we wanted to. Entice the masses. This one, for example, would increase public support here. The masses are easily swayed. By giving promises to solve smaller, close to heart questions and issues, our government can easily become more appealing and liked by the average Finn. Change of popularity of non-aligned 10%. Public trust moves 15% towards the side of high public trust. Yeah, result 30% will be. Okay, well, we're stable for now, so let's just leave it at that. We also appeal to the Finnish spirit, basically a higher cost. This moves it by 25%. Let's see if we want to deal with that. But for now, we have low trust in our government. In general, I guess there's only one national spirit modifier right now, Sisu. Sisu is a unique Finnish expression for the resilience of the nation's people. Finland has faced harsh odds and will do so again. Division recovery rate plus 5% and division defense on core territory plus 10%. Good to have. Pretty simple, but not necessarily actually relevant at the moment since we're not at war with anyone. So that's pretty much all there's to say about the political setup. I think we do have our military-industrial organizations introduced in this expansion, which we'll take a look at. And right now we have laws and government. We have limited conscription, goodwill population 2.5, as opposed to disarmed, which we don't want, volunteer only. It's not really feasible. Limited conscription, I think, makes sense. Export focus for trade law. We could go with free trade for 150 political power. That gives us construction speed plus 5%, plus 5% research, plus 5% factory output, and dockyard output, which we won't make, I think, a lot of use of, but resources to market plus 80%. Construction line, speed boost modifier actually goes down by 5%, not sure what that is exactly. And we give away civilian and navy intelligence to others. I don't think anyone was particularly interested in us, apart from maybe the Soviet Union. So I think this is actually a viable option for us to go to free trade when we can. Civilian economy, again, fits us just fine. It means 35% of our factories, our civilian factories, are allocated to consumer goods. And construction speed is reduced by 30%. Well, not much we can do. There is no reason to do early mobilization for now, since we're a peaceful country, not necessarily threatened. So we'll leave that as is as well. We have a bunch of political advisors, which we will have a look at once we unpause the game. Right now, we could also go over the military-industrial organizations, industrial concern. We kind of need about 150 political power before we can actually, before it's worth spending time thinking about this. A theorist, military staff, again, not necessarily relevant right now. Selecting a national focus though. Let's have a look. So for now, there's basically the left-hand side. I think here is all political focus trees, which is socialism, neutrality, and right-wing. We have an industrialization kind of focus tree that is a little linked with the military kind of budget tree here. It links up with it. And there's also the form Nordic Council and kind of overall military slash Nordic focus, let's say, focus tree. I think right now, since, I think the country, Finland in 1st January 1936, it's kind of just, it's not expecting Second World War. We don't know whether it will break out or not, especially with historical AI focuses turned off. So I think the only reasonable choice here is to enhance southern infrastructure, especially given Pear is clearly focused on infrastructure with his plus 20% bonus to infrastructure construction speed. Here we go, enhance southern infrastructure, 70 days. And as the Finnish nation looks to secure its place in the world, it must focus on building and improving its industrial capacity. The first step to achieve this goal is to improve the infrastructure in the southern regions to ensure that they are better prepared to handle the demands of the light and heavy industry in the short term. Perfectly, I think, reasonable choice for a country. We'll get Uusimaa, 1 infrastructure. Turku will get 1 infrastructure. A level 1 railway from Turku to Uusimaa. Häme, I guess, will get 1 infrastructure. 1 supply hub. Build level 1 railway from Uusimaa to Häme. Kimi, 1 infrastructure, 1 supply hub. Level 1 railway, again, Uusimaa to Kimi. So Kelly 1 building spot 1. So we get a lot of infrastructure, a lot of railways. I think for 70 days for focus tree. So a reasonable, I think, fairly straightforward choice. And we'll keep industrializing. We'll talk about the rest of the focus tree once we unpause on kind of low speed. But effectively, I think we will try to industrialize Finland as much as we can. Both for, I think that's generally what countries do, is try to, and especially at that time, industrialize themselves, build up their industrial capacity. Also with an eye, bordering Soviet, obviously superpower, tensions rising in Europe. So whether it will be used for civilian or for military purposes, we will see. With the new mechanic of exporting weapons, we could also try to profit from the, from the rising global tensions, if we can also maintain neutrality and, hopefully don't need to use those weapons ourselves. So, yeah, we'll build up infrastructure and industrialize as much as we can. I think that will be Pear's focus. Let's just go over then research. Something else we have to just set straight away. There we go, research. We have plus 5% bonus from expert focus. And let's have a look. So infantry, I think what we want, this will be a focus. Improved infantry equipment and getting the 1939 Suomi KP-31s infantry equipment, because we want to set our factories to actually produce this equipment as early as we can to build up efficiency and actually have our soldiers use this equipment if we get attacked. Most of our army will be, I think, leg infantry divisions, especially up to 1940. So I think getting infantry equipment and support equipment, this is by far the largest, contributor, the largest boost, and the most kind of value for money in terms of research time for our military strength. So these. We will get trucks to get the support companies, like field hospitals, given our very limited manpower. So that will be another thing we're gonna need to think about. Special forces would be nice. We'll see, we don't need Marines. Doubt we can do paratroopers. Maybe mountaineers we might get. So support companies, we have support equipment, we have engineering companies and recon companies unlocked. We'll try to, like as I just mentioned, unlock the trucks, get field hospitals, maybe signaling companies, we'll see with the radio. Not sure, military police. But for now, not much here. Maybe we'll research some of these trains later. Armor, I don't really think we have the industrial capacity, definitely not until for a few years, to build any type of armor, so we'll skip that, and instead we will rely on artillery to support our infantry. And so, you know, kind of the general artillery, anti-air, and anti-tank is what we will need. So this is kind of a secondary priority. This is, you know, another big, well, in fact, yeah, probably the second biggest, maybe even the biggest kind of contributor to the power of our military. Given, again, we don't have a lot of manpower, we're going to need to enhance our divisions with all sorts of field guns. This is going to have to deal with enemy armor. Anti-air is going to have to deal with enemy anti-air. Naval, again, I don't think we have the industrial capacity to support a navy. Same with naval support. In terms of air force, I think we might try and get to maybe 1936, kind of 1940s planes, just fighters, just to get air superiority and help our troops on the ground, so that at the very least they're not getting bombed. So we need to protect our limited industrial capacity in the event of war, and just provide cover to our troops, so that at least, you know, they're not getting close air support bombed by close air support, or by, you know, any kind of strategic or tactical bombers. But this is a lot of research. This is 190 days, another 190 days, plus I think we need at least the guns and the engines. It's a big investment, so we're going to leave that out for now. Engineering, electronic engineering, electronic mechanical engineering, 95 days. We live in an age when electrical machines can no longer only warm and light us, but help us think and communicate. Electronics will be key to military intelligence in the coming century. Indeed, research speed plus 3%. A no-brainer starting research. And I guess industry-wise, we need construction for construction speed. And we need basic machine tools for production efficiency cap. Although, yeah, we are at a cap already, so it would be nice. It would be nice to raise that. So let's do with basic machine tools. A variety of newly developed milling machines can be used in military production, from the small and versatile types available to any machine shop to the large-scale, advanced models that push the technological limits. Production efficiency cap plus 10%. So with that, and finally construction, improved methods and materials allow us to construct buildings, both civilian and military, faster. Construction speed plus 10%. Also, can't go wrong with that. So yeah, that's our research done. Now let's have a look at our industrial capacity situation. So first of all, in terms of, we have 11 factories, 3 military, 7 civilian factories, and 1 naval dockyard. We have factories in use, 7, unused 4. So we have 7 factories, 35% of those, or 3 are using consumer goods. The rest are free. What should we do with them? I think at the start, we will go with infrastructure, given we have a bonus for it. We'll try to industrialize and get civilian military factories through the focus tree. And instead we will build, first of all, infrastructure in these regions with resources. So a couple of levels here. The other one be so let's go with that for infrastructure. And infrastructure, so this building provides the state with improvement on infrastructure. It increases your supply power in strategic regions and increases your division's speed, as well as increasing your raw resource extraction. So we will build these in our resource provinces to increase resource extraction. It also improves the speed of construction of civilian factories. So while at first we'll try to get as many civilian factories as we can from the industrialization kind of mini focus tree, and we'll build up infrastructure in the meantime, and then we'll start maybe building civilian and military factories ourselves. But for now, we'll put 4 infrastructure pieces here. And an infrastructure that's what, 6,000 construction cost compared to a civilian factory of 10,800. It's pretty pricey, I have to say. But it's okay. Maybe we even... we'll see what we do after. So we want to build maybe a bit of infrastructure here to link these up and just make sure our troops can travel up and down the country. And we'll see. Our civilian, those are our military. We have one factory dedicated to military equipment, so that's 5 per day. Stockpiling, support equipment, 4 per week. That's what, 200 per year, and this is what, times 300, let's say, that's about, it's basically 17, 18, 100 per year. So we'll try to build up our small arms industry and maybe sell some on the international market, which we'll have a look at. But what we are going to also set, I think we'll need towed artillery, and we'll produce it with the Valtian VTT, Tiki Tedas, so VTT. So use one of our military industrial organizations, and it will gain XP, I think, as we produce these. We'll have a look at them later. But that will be our three military factories. This is kind of the core of our military. A bit of artillery, some obviously guns for the troops, and support equipment. Missing some resources, but we'll get some more with the infrastructure that we're building up. And now actually we have dockyards. Dockyards, I think for now we'll just set it to build convoys. 28, yeah. Maybe spend. We don't really have much choice. We could build coastal defense ships, maybe submarines. Yeah, we'll maybe switch to submarines later, but we'll see. And convoys for international trade and delivering our small arms and maybe even artillery later to other nations. That will be useful. And we only have 5 convoys right now. Otherwise, unassigned divisions. We'll have a look. Decisions available. No template. Yeah, we're producing artillery without a template. For now, that's fine. Low manpower. Yes, that will always be the case. And insufficient resources. Yeah, it's okay. Just slows down our production a little bit. We'll go ahead and unpause. And just keep it at speed of 1. The only thing left to do is to just review our military.
Almina!
And what we have is Finland.
Almina!
To start with, we have 18 divisions. And I think we'll split them straight away. We'll remove all the reserves. We'll take these, put them in one army. To be honest, I'm not very good with HoI combat mechanics, but I know we will put these in one army, and we'll, I think, pick Winter Specialist, Ranger, Forest, Veteran Jäger. I mean, this guy's clearly very good. Skill 4 defense, attack skill, logistics, probably the best general we have. And we will set these to exercise. And what we have, and we'll review them in a second, these are effectively our frontline kind of divisions. We click on them, click on the, just check out the template. We have 2 brigades with 3 battalions of infantry in each, along with an engineering company. And so yeah, pretty slow speed, 155 organization, pretty good. But yeah, there isn't much of anything, pretty weak, given they're not supported by any artillery. 11 soft attack, no hard attack defense, very low. But it will do for now. We'll keep them training, get their maybe experience level up, and start getting some army experience for the long term. They still need some support equipment and some infantry equipment, it seems, to build them properly. And here we are. Yeah. We need 6,000 guns for reinforcements and 300 support equipment. Otherwise, we also have these reserve forces, which we'll put in a different army. Let's see. Who can we give this to? Ranger, veteran, Jäger, mountaineer, commando, trickster. To someone, infantry officer. Some amazing cautious war hero, trickster, winter specialist, defensive doctrine. I'll give it to Field Marshal Karl G. Mannerheim, chief of the army role, given he's focused on defense. We will defend. I forgot how to do this. We've got victory points, coastline, naval bases. We'll put them in the back here, maybe. Like so. And we'll guard key naval bases and victory points with these reserves. In the back, kind of on the western side of Finland, away from the Soviet Union. In fact, I might just leave them here. Maybe. No, we will add this, given we have a port here in, or at least a city. Sorry, it's not a port. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll move those around. Yeah, then we'll keep these guys training. We won't move them to the front line for now, so there's no need. Once these guys move, we will also get them training and just get this army experience building up. Increase the speed to 2. Keep going. So here we are. Finland. Let's just see how the world unfolds, you know, and react to it. But for our political power to build up, so once we get to 100 or 150, we can actually make some decisions. Now there's nothing. We have 7 plus 0.8 per day, base value of 2. But given we have low trust, we lose 0.2. Stability, we're hovering at 49. It would be nice to get this over 50, or just keep it at 50. To avoid any malices. War support, we have 50. 50%. Yeah, manpower. Pretty short on manpower. But we're okay. Our army is 89,000 people. Yeah, all in the field, and we have free manpower on top of that of 6,000. 4,000 is in our navy as well. So total manpower of 95,000. Yeah, recruitable. So monthly growth in states, 118 people become eligible every month. So that's what, 1,000 people a year. So a little bit more. 11 factories, fuel, logistics, fulfillment, convoys, manpower, our army experience. We're starting to get that slowly, and nothing else. Pick this up to 3. I rarely go above 3, just so I can make sure I can take stock of the global situation, and we can also just look over some of the additional menus here. Or, yeah. Sometimes with research and production. Those are political advisors. Let's see who we could get at 150. Aki Henry Gartz. Infrastructure construction speed would be another 10%. Civilian factory construction speed plus 10%. He would be a nice one to get. And then anti-Haxel. There's political power gain plus 15% as long as we ruling party is not communist, democratic. Communist or democratic, yeah, has not completely focused of socialism. It's fine. Low manpower. Official resources. Modify government. Fine. No template, we're just producing artillery. We'll put it in a template once we have enough army experience. But it's okay to stockpile it for now. There we go. Italy moves to annex the Sultanate of Ossa, or Ausa. Rumors are swirling that the annexation of the Sultanate of Ossa by Italian forces may be imminent. Italian troops have been seen amassing on the border of the isolated nation, and sources indicate that pressure is being exerted diplomatically in Ossa to force a capitulation without bloodshed. It remains to be seen whether Mohammed Yayo can resist the Italian pressure, but the situation does not look promising. How dreadful. And here we are, Sultanate of Ossa submits to Italian demands. Perhaps unsurprisingly to many, the Sultanate of Ossa has accepted Italian demands for subjugation. While the Afar government held out hope of avoiding occupation, it became increasingly clear that the colonial powers of the region would not be coming to their aid. Nor would neighboring Ethiopia be able to spare military personnel to support them. With the situation so bleak, the government bowed to Italian pressure to spare the people, becoming the victims of unnecessary bloodshed. Italian forces are now moving into the small nation to take up new positions on the border with Ethiopia. It is unclear whether the occupation will be permanent or how it will impact the wider Italian conflict with Ethiopia. Unsurprisingly. Okay, so here we are. Italy is invading Ethiopia. World tension is still at 0. That's fine. Let's keep looking. This industrial concern is one we can pick. And here we have, for 150 political power, we can get mining company, resource gain, efficiency, lack of resources penalty, excavation technology, research speed. Utakumpu mining company. Tampella industrial concern, industrial research speed plus 15. That's actually quite nice since we do a lot of industrial research. It takes a long time. It's about 180 days every time. So if you think about that, shaves off what? 18 plus 9, so about 30 days of each industrial tech. We have the Nokia electronics concern, electronics research speed plus 15. Not that many electronics technologies, I guess. Although it is nice to get them early. Poyolan Voima construction company. Oh, look at this. Infrastructure construction speed plus another 10%. Railway construction speed plus 10%. Oh, okay, so let's just pause the game quickly. Germany embroiled in civil war. A sudden Wehrmacht coup led by the famed Field Marshal August von Mackensen has triggered a civil war in Germany early this morning. Fascists, royalists, and Democrats alike have taken up arms against their former countrymen, and military units have been removed from the borders to see to the internal threat. The fascists, under orders of Hitler, have already vowed to destroy the nation rather than see it fall to treasonous Germans. Let us hope peace will soon return to Europe. The German Reich declared war on the German Empire. Okay. I'll take a look at that in a second. And the national focus completed. Enhance southern infrastructure. Go with industrial development. Another 70 days. And as the world becomes increasingly industrialized, Finland must keep pace if it is to become a major player on the global stage. The investments we make in our heavy industry will not only create jobs and stimulate the economy, but also provide the resources necessary to meet the challenges of the future. Yep, that sounds like a reasonable policy. Gains infrastructure effort, which grants infrastructure construction speed plus 20% for almost 2 years. And we get 2 civilian factories in Usima and in Turku. Yep. Sounds good. Let's unpause back to 3. Turkey remilitarizes the Turkish Straits. Turkey and the Soviet Union have come to an agreement on revising the Treaty of Lausanne, which was signed and implemented after the nascent Republic of Turkey repulsed the Entente in the Turkish War of Independence. The treaty has long been decried as an assault on Turkish sovereignty, but today the treaty has finally amended in favor of the newly legalized Montreux Convention. Turkey now has complete control over traffic that passes in and out of the Turkish Straits, and the states around the straits have now been remilitarized by Turkey. British observers who were part of the process are merely satisfied that the conflict in the region has been avoided. Good for Turkey, I guess. Modify officer corps, we'll have a look at that. Well, let's keep going with our industrial concerns. We can also keep VR, and that gives us supply hub construction, railway construction speed, trains and railway research. For 75 political power only. So it's really between these two. But Yol and Voima, although I need to complete the focus found for Yol and Voima. That will give us infrastructure construction speed plus 10%. Consumer goods factories factor also minus 15%. But it will be, 85% of 35% that are required for civilian factories. Since this is how it now works, is production. Is it production? No, wait. Construction. Yeah. There we go. So you see, we have, with our current economic policy, the people expect 35% of our 10 civilian and military factories to produce consumer goods. This need is filled by our 7 civilian factories, leaving us with 4 factories, where 4 can be used for trade. Yeah. And here we are, civilian military factories, we have 10, required consumer goods factories 3, and this is based on civilian economy with 35%, and there are factors multiplied together are 100%. So 100% of 35% of 10 is 3, and there's various ways to reduce that or increase that factors kind of multiplier. So we could, free up maybe 1 factory, in the long term maybe 1 or 2, I guess, with this 15% decrease. Infrastructure construction speed plus 10%, or industrial research speed plus 15. So we could get industrial tech 30 days earlier on average and just generally free up our research slots, or build up more infrastructure. We have quite a lot of bonuses for infrastructure. We get plus 20% from pair. We will get another 20% from industrial development. That's 40. We'll see. Let's just revisit our reserves and get them training for more army experience, which we'll need for doctrines and to customize the or enhance or upgrade the templates of our divisions. Here we are. I feel like maybe Captain of Industry, that can give us plus 10% construction speed for infrastructure and civilian factories. So this is the better use, I think, of the 150 political power, and will have an immediate effect as well. And kind of universal. We'll always be building either infrastructure or civilian factories for the next, 3-4 years. So yeah, I think this is where the first 150 of political power needs to go. Increase our speed to 3. Have a look at the terrain. Terrain of Finland is pretty simple. It's all forests. Just a ginormous forest, maybe sometimes a lake. Oh, there we are. Electronic mechanical engineering done. I think mechanical computing is the next reasonable choice for a research speed bonus of 4%. Structuring machines capable of advanced differential analysis will radically change what sort of machine-assisted calculations can be made. Let's go with mechanical computing. Good investment early on. But yeah, as we were saying, most of Finland is basically a forest, broken up with a lake, or some swamps in the very far north here in Petsamo. And these are just on marshes. Ethiopia declared war on the Ethiopian Empire. And, yeah, so here we are. We got some plains. But these are all marshes. Forests. Some rivers up north. Basically, it's mostly forests. Which is really good for defense. Good for leg infantry. You know. Would make use out. Otherwise, yeah. What do we have? We have here Modify Officer Corps. Not going to really have much Navy, not much Air Force. Let's see if Chief of the Army. So Mannerheim, Genius, Army Defense, Army Experience gain plus 0.4 daily, Division Defense plus 15. Wow. It's a good one. 200 political power. We'll get 0.4 Army Planning. Army Experience gain plus 0.3. Planning Speed plus 10. Axel Aero. Okay, Toivo. Army Experience gain plus 0.2. Planning Speed. Okay, slow down a little bit. So, Second London Naval Treaty signed. Delegations from Britain, France, Italy, Japan, and the US met in December of 1935 to discuss a renewal of the First London Naval Treaty, which restricted the number and size of cruisers and submarines. Negotiations turned quite heated over Italy's war in Ethiopia and Japan's desire to be seen as equal to Britain and the US. With negotiations now at an end, the signatory nations have agreed on limits to the size of battleships and aircraft carriers in hopes of preventing another ruinous arms race. More money for the army then. Indeed. But back to our Chief of Army. Get planning speed plus 5 from Toivo and army experience gain plus 0.2. Basically worse, same but worse, except it costs only 50 political power. Lori Malmberg. Also 100 political power. Gets 0.3 division training time minus 10. We're not going to be doing a lot of training. Division attack plus 10. Possible, I guess. Planning speed. Yeah, some good choices here. I guess Carl G. Mannerheim would be the best. Just increase if we which is more than likely that we're going to be defending rather than attacking. So perhaps our man here in charge of the reserves will be our Chief of Army. We'll see though. It's up to 3 again. World tension up to 6% now, with the largest world tensions been generated by German military junta. 0.9%, current scale 98%, changing by -0.5 per month since January 1936, minimum 25%. Look at the international market for arms. Buying. No one's really selling anything right now, which is understandable given everyone's just started the game, kind of building up their militaries, upgrading from older versions. But I think with time, people will probably dump the older equipment on the market. So that's sort of our national focus: completed industrial development. Ooh, basic machine tools researched. Let's have a look at the national focus. So here we are. We got 2 extra civilian factories and infrastructure construction speed bonus of plus 20%. What do we have now? We have choice of Yaniskosi power plant, 35 days. Pitsamo, one of the following must be controlled by Finland. Gives us 1 civilian factories and 4 steel. This gives us broadly synthetic refiners. This one gives us civilian factory and research bonus for electronics. Pretty good, except we're already committed ourselves to mechanical computing, sadly. And this one won't come for a while, so we can hold off on that one. Tire factory, 2% 100% research bonus for synthetic resources. Try to industrialize, given Yaniskosi power plant also lets us progress further down the tree. Let's go with this one, Yaniskosi power plant, 35 days. We'll build a power plant in Yaniskoski to provide reliable energy for the electric smelter of the Kolosjoki nickel mine and fuel the growth of Pitsamo area, which shall in turn spur an economic development in northern Finland. Yep. Rural region type, 1 civilian factory, 4 steel. Go with that. Pitsamo is this region here. Research. Industry. Do we go with concentrated industry? Time to research, 175 days. Max factories in a state plus 20%. Factory output plus 15. Dockyard output plus 10%. Yeah, so it's really between concentrated or dispersed. Production dispersed, you get more production efficiency retention. I mean, to be honest, we need to get the most. We're not going to have a lot of factories, military factories, I guess. So we need as much factory output as we can. We won't be switching that much. Factory output, dockyard, factory bomb vulnerability. Yeah, this gives you minus 15%. Hopefully we can build up our air defenses and maybe even a small air force to protect our industry. So let's go with concentrated industry. Focusing our industrial production to a few key sites will allow us to dramatically improve its efficiency. Factory output plus 15%. Let's go with that, get the most out of our factories. Back to speed of 3. A half year into 1936. 6 months. Yeah, I think the next step is to get that 150 political power. And get higher Aki Henry carts. We're still building our first. Wow, we haven't even built 1 infrastructure yet. Ouch. We only have 5 factories. Let's have a look though. Let's look at infrastructure. Infrastructure. We actually, with the first focus tree, we got a little bit of infrastructure in our southern regions. So now actually here, most places we have 3. So if we wanted to, So this is kind of what we need to have 3 throughout our country. We got that going. We'll add that in. We might change that later. Ionisco's power plant finished. That gives us 1 more civilian factory and 4 steel in Petsamo. I was going to expand Imatra hydropower plant, 35 days. Imatra hydropower plant, established in 1922, has proven to be a reliable source of energy for Finland's growing industry. With the expansion of its 5th and 6th machines, the plant's capacity will only increase, enabling further industrial growth in the Kymi region. 1 more civilian factory and more steel. Actually, what I forgot is Kymi. Where's Kymi? Kuopio. Ame. Usima. Turku. Kymi. Here we are. This is the region. The hydropower plant. So yeah, our other option is to... Oh, okay. Construction 1. Finished. Construction speed plus 10%. Construction 2. I'm not sure we want to spend time on that. Extra time. This will get benefits too. Yeah, this unfortunately we should have used that 75% on this. Fine, we'll use that later. Not gonna go with Air Force for now, not the Navy. Artillery. I think, yeah, let's research anti-tank, since once we do get the... Baltian VTT. Use our military industrial organization to research this. Get some funds into it and expand it, which we can talk about that later. Yeah, but let's get that going, since as we build military factories, which will now have 3. We need 1 more for anti-air. We need 1 more for anti-tank. We need 1 more. So that's 1 more for anti-tank. Sorry, 1 more for anti-air. That's 1, 2 more to get the anti-tank. 3 more to get 1 for trucks. We need at least 3. Yeah, at least 3 more. Just to get our basic kind of divisions. So we can add artillery, anti-air, anti-tank to them. And some trucks for the support companies like field hospitals. But yeah, I think right now all focus is on industrialization, so we'll hire that political advisor. Expand Imatra hydropower plant. Done. Reduce speed to 1. Let's have a look. Power from the dams. We need construction 4. That will give us more civilian factories. Need construction 3 to find Puyol and Voima. And that will give 2 building slots and 1 civilian factory and up to 5 fully controlled core states with at least 3 levels of infrastructure, which right now is 3. We're going to need to wait to build up infrastructure in 2 more states to 3, and then it will give us 5 civilian factories from 7 today. So that's a really good over. We need construction 3 to get there, so that won't be for a few years. I think right now the best one is Vaisala Radio Zone tests. Under the guidance of Professor Viljo Vaisala, pioneering efforts in radio zone technology have paved the way for successful commercial production, building upon the success of the Finnish radio zone launch in 1931. Continuous research and development have led to significant technological advancements. We'll get 2 times 75% research bonus for electronics, really good, and we'll, SEMA will get 1 civilian factories, 35 days. Let's go for it. We're now up to 15 factories with 11 civilian factories. Back up to 3. Acker Henry guards hired. Public trust is decreasing by 0.1 per day. It's because of these guys, isn't it? We need to somehow suppress the Social Democratic Party. Not sure what the best way, because we're gonna start to get stability -10, political power gain -20. Yeah. So by August we got that guy in. Now, and we have a lot of bonuses to. We have respectively 20, 20, 10. That's 50% construction speed plus construction 1, so 60%. 60% boost. Right, yeah. Here, export focus is also 10, construction plus 10. I guess the next best use of political power would be the industrial concern. Although, I mean, by that time, that thing is, it's good to get it early. Otherwise, maybe we get something else. Actually, maybe Chief of Army to get the army experience going. That would be more useful than this boost to research. Let's see. Let's have a look at the focus trees and see what we can pick next. Thing is, we can pick a factory at Nokia. 100% research bonus for synthetic resources. Synthetic refinery. Or we could do increased military budget. The nation's security is of utmost importance. By increasing military funding, the defense forces will be well equipped and better prepared to withstand any potential threats. We get 2 times 50 research bonus for infantry weapons, support artillery, truck, support technology, aircraft and ships, and 1 military factory. Let's go with that. We need an extra military factory to start building anti-tank weapons, or even anti-air. Anti-tank, I think, first. And we need to, you know, start researching. I think once we're done with the key electronic and industrial research, we are going to... Yeah, we are pretty much done with. Although, yeah, we have 2 more industrial... Well, actually even 3 more industrial techs. Sure, I mean... Not actually sure if this was the better option. Get this. Is there any focus tree maybe that can give us political power, so that we can shave off time spent on industrial research? We don't really know. I don't really like picking political trees this early, because we don't know what the world has in store for us and how it will develop. So no, there is, yeah, we don't have the political power. Industrial research. But we will maybe try to research trucks with this bonus, 50%. And again, we'll get 1 more military factory and just get the trucks rolling. Pun intended. Get the research on them rolling. And then, or we use that 50% bonus just to power our way through to the 1939 weapons, which will allow us to set our industry to these, equip all of our men with the latest weaponry by the time 1939 actually comes around, and try and export these around the world. So that is another option. This is cut by 50% now. Right, we'll have two 50%. Oh, here we will have a 75% research bonus for infantry weapons, support artillery, and truck. So between these, we'll have a 75% and a 50%. Okay, let's just slow this down. Military thing. Let's get code anti-air. For now, I'll just put this here, since I want to wait for the research on anti-tank guns to finish. It'll be 34 days. Meanwhile, it will take 70 days for Suomen Voimat. We must enhance the capabilities of the Finnish defense forces by investing in the research of new military equipment and modernizing training facilities to ensure readiness in the face of any potential threats. Army experience, 75% research bonus. Cost reduction for land doctrine, so we'll get one land doctrine effectively for 25 army experience, given that normally they cost 100. We get one military factory. And we add Finnish army experience gain. Force rate, called acquisition. Okay, fine. So I think what we do is the next thing we research, these will be, well, this one, we will use the 50% bonus. Right, hang on. Just need to make sure. Yeah, it will be 70 days before the next focus finishes. So we need to use up our 50% bonus on improved infantry equipment and on trucks, so that the 75% bonus applies to 1939. So that's what we're gonna do. Which is in 70 days. Wait for that to finish. See, oh, the German Reich is not doing very well. German military junta, which is also actually 29% fascist, democratic. It's kind of all over the place. Yeah, it's a bit interesting how this develops, but German Reich seems to be losing. Check how our neighbors are doing. Sweden, democratic. Norway, democratic, fascist. That's interesting. Denmark, democratic. Britain, democratic, non-aligned. France, communist. I think this is pretty normal. Democratic. Okay. Japan, fascist. Okay. United States, democratic. German Reich is annexed. Okay, interesting. Let's go. German Civil War ends. The civil war that has racked Germany has now come to an end. The fighting was extraordinarily intense, with fanatical resistance by the Nazis causing devastation on a scale reminiscent of the Great War. It appears Hitler is dead and the Nazi leadership in prison or executed. The provisional government has now announced that it is necessary to secure their hold over the state and ensure the return of stability to the nation, before there can be any thought of embarking on a process of constitutional reforms. Let us hope the new regime is more accommodating. Indeed. No focus there. Well, still pretty fascist, non-aligned. Yeah. We'll see. That's interesting. We'll see how that develops. Okay, let's push on to the end of 1936, and we'll make a cut for the episode there. So we're building up as much of that infrastructure as we can while we have pair in power and the infrastructure effort. National spirit. Dominions break with the crown. Representatives of the Dominion governments today announced that they will unilaterally be breaking ties with the crown. They cite the king's flagrant disregard for the opinions and wishes of the Dominion governments. Let's just pause. Sorry, a lot of things happening. Wishes of the Dominion governments and their peoples is the primary reason for why the British-Commonwealth relationship can no longer continue. This crisis, brought on by the king's intent to marry Wallis Simpson, has now resulted in the formation of a new Commonwealth of Nations with the various dominions, and it seems that the present paralysis of the British government will preclude any action being taken in response to this move. This is undoubtedly what the Dominions have hoped for. The Empire is in crisis. Okay. Anti-tank weapons researched. Let's go here. First of all, let's set the next research as improved infantry weapon equipment. That'll be a 50% reduction. And the trucks will also be 50%. We'll do 50 and so yeah. I mean the trucks I think is okay. Sisu Auto. That's fine. We will lock one of our research slots for a very long time. But I think, given it will have a massive benefit for our military, having those 1939 infantry equipment, and also potential to sell them on global market, we should go for it. Build up our small arms industry into the world global leader. There you go, anti-tank. Build it. Boom. Yeah. We'll start stockpiling. Artillery, anti-tank, and just towed artillery. No, so that's good. We have 4 factories all in use. Concentrated industry and mechanical computing finished. Let's just pause this. Equipment. Okay, well, we'll do improved infantry equipment. So it'll take us 230 days. Base cost is 150. We are 1 year ahead. Infantry weapons manufacturer. And 10 days shaved off. 220 days as opposed to 150 base. So 70 extra days we're using on this. And then we'll have a 75% bonus to use here. Otherwise, there isn't much. These we can all... Yeah, we'll use this one later. Air Force, we don't need engineering. But this 300 days. Base is 250, so 50. We could make good use of this 75% bonus, but we'll lock ourselves for a year. Or we could actually... Yeah, I think this is concentrated industry, factory output. 138 days. I think we need more construction. Factory output, or do we have production efficiency cap? We're pretty good use of our time to do the improved machine tools. It's only 138 days as well. I mean, 100 days after we do the trucks, we can do construction. Efficiency cap, yeah, so we can raise this here. Both of these, which are much needed. We are approaching maximum here. Yeah, I guess let's do that. Let's do improved machine tools. Turret laths are proving indispensable for mass production. Ensuring efficient construction and use of the laths themselves will give us significant industrial advantage. Wait, we haven't... Yeah. Well, we haven't actually read... I like reading the backstory to each tech or the description. For the trucks, it's motorizing infantry is the first stage towards the mechanization of an army. Civilian trucks are readily adaptable to military uses of transporting soldiers, towing guns, and carrying equipment and supplies. This greatly increases the strategic mobility of infantry units, which would otherwise rely on marching. And the improved infantry equipment. Personnel and crew served weapons for infantry, as well as the various other bits of kit a soldier needs. Improved weapon models and more specialized equipment. Shovels, binoculars, rifles, maybe crew manned mortars. I know these are the mortars and machine guns are actually in the support weapons. Yeah, the games of the 11th Olympiad. The 11th Olympic Games were recently held in undamaged parts of the devastated and newly rebuilding Berlin, Germany. Interesting. Attended by athletes from 49 different nations from across the world. The 1936 Summer Olympics are the first in history to have enjoyed limited live television coverage. The Games, a symbol of renewed German national unity, were also a significant propaganda victory for the new German regime, which, despite the tremendous costs of rebuilding the nation after the Civil War, spent lavishly on the event. German athletes saw the most success, winning 33 gold medals, while the Americans came in second with 24. 4 of these were won by Jesse Owens, the single most successful athlete of the Games. Games are concluded. Let's push on and end 1937. Yeah, sorry. I guess our public trust is not as low as it could be. There isn't much we can do though. We need... I mean, the main drawback of having that is we get minus 20%. We'll lose 0.4 political power to this very low trust. Was that quickly? National focus completed. Another military factory unlocked. We get the 75% research bonus for infantry weapons, support technology, support artillery and truck. Land doctrine, 1 military factory. We get the Finnish army, national spirit. We do now unlock Outokumpu for defense industry, investing in the national metal industry company Outokumpu HoI will help increasing Finland's defense readiness. The establishment of a domestic metal factory in Pori and a copper electrolysis plant to refine raw copper will bring self-sufficiency to Finland's copper and brass production. So we'll have 6 steel in Turku, we have 1 civilian factory and 1 military factory. Perfect. 70 days, well worth it. Let's have a look at our military factories again. And let's go with code anti-air. Up here, we'll keep going. We need more, yeah, we'll unlock trucks soon and we'll get 1 more military factory and we'll put it to use on trucks in 80 days. Poland declared war on Poland. Okay. Polish Senation junta. Are they fascist? Okay. Let's keep an eye on how Germany develops. Fascist 34%. Britain, non-aligned Conservative Party. Nationalist Spain declared war on Spain. Okay. France, 30% communist. Okay. The world tension is rising. Okay, I think we'll pause here. 1st of January 1937. That will be the end of the first episodes, guys. Thanks for watching. We've gone through the first year. We'll do a recap at the beginning of the next episode. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.